Ever get that feeling like you've stepped outside of time for just a moment?
Yeah.
Maybe you catch a familiar scent that whisks you back to childhood, or you walk into a room
Yeah.
and it feels eerily like a scene from a dream.
Yeah.
Today, we're diving headfirst into those moments,
Yeah.
those possible time slips.
Hmm.
Through one man's extraordinary account,
Interesting.
we're exploring Desface Temporal Viajeros and El Tiempo,
Okay.
a text detailing what might be a real-life time slip experience,
Right.
told through a deeply personal lens.
Wow.
It's almost like we're eavesdropping on someone grappling with the impossible.
And what's so captivating about this narrative,
Yeah.
in particular, is its raw, intimate tone.
Hmm.
It's not trying to convince you of anything.
Right.
It simply lays out one man's experience with startling clarity and invites you to come along for the ride.
The story centers around Francisco, living in Tijuana in 2020.
Okay.
Picture this.
Okay.
He's going about his day when, out of nowhere,
Yeah.
he's hit with this overwhelming urge to sleep.
Wow.
He wakes up and something's just different.
Huh.
He's back in his grandparents' house,
Okay.
but it's not the house he remembers.
Oh.
It's like he's been transported back to 1979.
Wow.
And it's not just the house that's different.
Right.
He encounters his father, his uncle,
Wow.
even his grandfather, who in Francisco's present day has already passed away.
He even describes the feeling of his clothing different, rougher,
Wow.
and the specific architectural details of his grandparents' house from that era. These vivid sensory details are often what make time slip accounts so compelling. It goes beyond a vague sense of displacement
Oh.
and grounds the experience in something almost tangible.
Right, like if you're going to make up a time travel story,
Yeah,
wouldn't you imagine something a little more glamorous than the texture of your shirt?
exactly. And that's what makes me pay attention.
Yeah.
It's these small, specific details that often lend an air of authenticity to an otherwise unbelievable event.
Right.
Of course, we can't discount the possibility of a very vivid dream or hallucination.
Yeah.
In fact, the narrative itself acknowledges the skepticism.
Okay.
Francisco himself questions his sanity at certain points, which makes his story even more relatable, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If I suddenly found myself face to face with my deceased grandfather, I'd probably be questioning everything too.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
There are these moments of incredible internal consistency within the story. For example, Francisco recalls specific details about 1979
Okay.
that he had no way of knowing beforehand, information he couldn't have just conjured up from memory or imagination.
It's those precise details.
Right.
The ones that challenge his existing understanding of the past, that make you pause and wonder,
Yeah.
what if there's something more to this?
Yeah.
What if our perception of time isn't as fixed or linear as we assume it to be?
And one of those details that really stuck with me was Francisco's interaction with his grandfather.
Right.
Here's someone he's only ever known through stories, suddenly right there in front of him.
And what's fascinating is that while the grandfather is obviously taken aback by Francisco's story,
Yeah.
there's also this sense that on some level,
Yeah.
he understands,
Wow.
almost like a shared knowing
Right.
that transcends the boundaries of time itself.
It gives me chills just thinking about it.
Yeah.
And then there's that line, the grandfather's advice to Francisco.
Right.
Don't be afraid. I'm coming for you soon.
Mm.
How do you even begin to unpack something like that?
It's certainly a phrase loaded with potential interpretations, isn't it?
Right?
On the surface, it could easily be taken as a statement about death,
Yeah.
especially given the grandfather's age.
Right.
But in the context of a possible time slip,
Right.
it takes on a whole other meaning.
Right. Are we talking about a literal arrival in the future?
Right.
Or is it hinting at a more fluid, interconnected understanding of time,
Yeah.
where death itself isn't necessarily the end?
Right.
And it's not just Francisco who's grappling with this experience.
Right.
The story also explores the impact it has on his uncle.
What's interesting about the uncle's storyline is that even though he doesn't fully comprehend or believe Francisco's experience,
Yeah.
he's still deeply affected by it.
Right.
It's as if simply hearing about the possibility of time travel,
Yeah.
of disrupting the linear nature of life and death, awakens something within him.
It's like it makes him reevaluate his own life, his own purpose.
Right.
And tragically, this newfound sense of purpose leaves him to sacrifice his life, saving a woman and child.
Right.
Which makes you wonder about the ripple effects of Francisco's possible journey through time.
Exactly did Francisco's presence in the past,
Yeah.
his interaction with his family,
Yeah.
somehow influenced the course of events leading to his uncle's heroic act.
Wow.
It raises questions about free will versus destiny, about the interconnectedness of our lives across time
Right.
in ways we may never fully understand.
It really makes you think about those seemingly insignificant moments in our own lives.
Yeah.
A conversation, a chance encounter.
Right.
And the potential impact they might have.
Yeah.
Not just on our own future,
Right.
but on the lives of those around us.
Absolutely.
Maybe those moments are more connected to the grand tapestry of time than we realize.
Yeah.
But could this experience really be a genuine time slip?
Right.
Or is it all just a vivid, emotionally charged dream? What do you think? It's like that age-old question.
If a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it,
Right.
did it really make a sound?
Yeah.
Can we trust an experience,
Right.
even our own,
Yeah.
if it defies all the rules we thought we knew?
It's a question that has captivated philosophers and scientists for centuries.
Right.
And when it comes to the nature of time,
Yeah.
there's still more questions than answers.
Right.
But perhaps that's where the real excitement lies.
I'm with you. Sometimes leaning into the mystery is more fun than finding out the magician's secret.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is that even modern physics
Okay.
seems to allow for the possibility
Yeah.
of what we might call time slips.
Right.
Einstein's theory of relativity, for example,
Right.
suggests that time isn't a constant.
Okay.
It can be affected by factors like gravity and speed. So you're telling me there's a chance that zooming down the highway gets me closer to time travel than I thought?
Well, maybe not quite.
Okay.
But the idea is that someone traveling at incredibly high speeds
Right.
could experience time differently than someone who's stationary. Their clock would tick a little slower relative to the stationary observer.
Okay. I kind of see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So imagine if you could somehow magnify that effect, push it to its limits.
Okay.
What might seem impossible, like traveling to another point in time,
Right.
could actually be a matter of understanding the universe's more nuanced operating system.
That's a mind-bending thought.
Yeah.
So if we entertain the possibility, even for a moment,
Right.
that Francisco's experience was more than just a dream,
Yeah.
what does that tell us about time itself?
Or about the power of our own perceptions.
That's what resonates most with me about this story. It challenges us to question our assumptions about reality.
Right.
It suggests that perhaps our everyday perception of time as linear and fixed
Right.
is just that, a perception.
Yeah.
Maybe there's room for something more fluid, more interconnected.
And beyond the mind-boggling implications for physics, it's the emotional core of Francisco's story that lingers.
Right.
This deep yearning to connect with loved ones, even across time, and to find meaning in the face of loss.
Exactly. It speaks to something universal within us.
Yeah.
That desire to understand our place in the grand scheme of things, to find connection and purpose, and to grapple with the mysteries of life and death.
Right.
And who knows, maybe by embracing a little more wonder and curiosity about the unknown.
We open ourselves up to experiencing the universe in ways we never thought possible.
Beautifully put.
I mean,
This entire deep dive has me thinking.
yeah.
If you could send a message back in time to your younger self, what would it be?
Oh, that's an intriguing one.
Yeah.
I suppose I'd tell myself to worry less about the future
Okay.
and savor the present moment more fully.
Right.
How about you?
You know, I think I'd echo Francisco's grandfather in a way
Okay.
and remind myself not to be afraid, to embrace the unknown with open arms and an open mind.
Right.
Because who knows what incredible experiences might be waiting just around the bend of time.
I like that.
And on that note, maybe it's time for all of us to pay a little more attention to the seemingly small moments in our lives, the chance encounters, the unexpected detours. Those might be the threads that connect us to something far greater than ourselves, woven into the very fabric of time.
That's a good way to think about it.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those stories coming.